career highs across the board. MVP finalist nobody saw coming. All-star selections for players who've been grinding in silence for years. Right now, there are WNBA players putting up numbers that should have the entire basketball world losing their minds. But instead, they're playing in the shadows while everyone obsesses over the same three names. Here's the thing, though. That's about to change, because the players everyone's sleeping on, they're the ones about to flip this entire league upside down. Let's talk about Kelsey Mitchell, because if you're not paying attention to what she's doing in Indiana, you're missing one of the most incredible stories in basketball. Mitchell has spent 8 years with the Fever. 8 years through the absolute worst period in franchise history. Coaching changes, losing seasons, rock bottom. She stuck around when most players would have demanded a trade. Then 2024 happened. Caitlin Clark arrived, and suddenly everyone's watching the Fever. But here's what nobody wants to admit. Clark only played 13 games in 2025 before injuries shut her down. You know who carried that team? Kelsey Mitchell, career high, 20.2 points per game. MVP finalist, all WNBA first team. She led the entire league in three-pointers, made with 111, and scored the second most points in the WNBA with 890. But wait, it gets better. The Fever dealt with 6 season-ending injuries in 2025. 6. Their entire backcourt was decimated. Mitchell didn't just step up. She became superhuman game 1 against the Aces in the playoffs. 34 points, playoff career high. Then came that overtime game against Connecticut, where the Fever were down 21 in the third quarter. Mitchell had 4 points at halftime, then erupted for 24 in the second half, forced overtime, and outscored the entire Sun team by herself with 10 in the extra period, 38 points total. The largest comeback in Fever franchise history. You want to know what fueled that? Her father died in March 2024. Mark Mitchell, the coach who taught her everything, gone at 56. She played the entire season in survival mode, honoring his memory every single night. Then Game 5 against the Aces happened, and the world watched Kelsey Mitchell literally collapse on the court. Extreme cramping in her lower body. She laid there for minutes while the arena went silent. They took her to the hospital, gave her fluids, and you know what she said? "I played literally till my wheels fell off." In 8 years, she's only missed 5 games total. Now she's headed to free agency, and Indiana is scrambling to keep her because they know the truth. She's not a sidekick. She's a superstar who's been hiding in plain sight. Now let's shift to Atlanta, because Alisha Gray just pulled off one of the quietest breakouts in WNBA history. She jumped from 15.6 points per game in 2024 to 19.7 in 2025. Career highs in scoring, rebounding at 5.5, and assists at 4.0. After 2 years as an all-star reserve, she finally became a starter. But here's the crazy part. Nobody saw it coming. Gray has always been solid. Elite defender, can score at all 3 levels, makes smart plays. But something clicked under new coach Carl Smesko. He told her to let it fly, and she's attempting 46% of her shots from three-point range now. That's a massive increase, and she's making them. The efficiency didn't drop. It went up. She's getting to the free throw line more than ever, averaging 5.4 attempts per game. Analysts are finally saying what people who actually watch Dream Games have known for years. She's one of the most well-rounded two-way wings in the league. On defense, she takes the toughest perimeter matchups every single night. On offense, she can create her own shot, move without the ball, and make plays for teammates. She's the glue player that championship teams need, and this year, she's finally getting all WNBA recognition. The league caught on. Question is, why did it take so long? Speaking of players who deserve more respect, Nneka Ogwumike is out here defying Father Time, and nobody's talking about it. She's 35 years old, 35, and she just made her 10th All-Star appearance, tied for 3rd most in WNBA history. She's 7th all-time in points and 8th in rebounds, climbing those leaderboards with every game. In her first season with Seattle after leaving Los Angeles, she shot 53% from the field and a career-best 40.5% from 3. She averaged 16.7 points efficiently, rarely turned the ball over, and finished 5th in the entire league in total win shares. 5th. Multiple analysts have flat-out called her the most underrated star in the WNBA, and they're right. Watch a Storm game. and you'll catch Ogwumike chasing down another historic milestone while playing elite defense and running perfect pick and rolls with Skylar Diggins. Her chemistry with Diggins has been one of the best guard-big duos this season. She can still dominate in the post, she's expanded her range beyond the arc, and defensively, she's as smart as they come. At an age when most players are winding down, Ogwumike is somehow surpassing her career averages in both points and rebounds. The disrespect is wild. Then there's Brittany Sykes, and if you're not familiar with her story, pay attention. 30 years old, first All-Star selection of her career in 2025. Let that sink in. She's been grinding in this league for years, bouncing between teams, waiting for her moment. Washington gave it to her, and she exploded career-high 19 points per game. She's second in the entire WNBA in drives per game at 12.3, trailing only Kelsey Plum. She's living at the free throw line with 7.7 attempts per game and a free throw rate of 58.6%. That's NBA Jimmy Butler territory. On defense, she's a menace both on and off the ball, disrupting everything. Sykes represents every player who kept showing up, kept working, kept believing their time would come. Most would have quit. She stuck around, and now at 30, she's finally getting the recognition she deserved years ago. Her story proves something crucial. Talent doesn't always explode immediately. Sometimes it takes the right situation, the right coach, the right opportunity. Golden State's Kayla Thornton is living proof of that. When the Valkyries selected her in the expansion draft, most people barely noticed she'd been a solid role player for years, bouncing around the league without much fanfare. Then 2025 happened. Thornton is having the best year of her career, earning her first All-Star selection while averaging 14.8 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 1.5 steals per game. The Valkyries are in the playoff hunt, one of the biggest surprises in sports this year, and Thornton is a massive reason why she needed opportunity. She needed a team that believed in her as more than a bench piece. Golden State gave her that, and she's thriving. It's the perfect example of how the expansion draft can revitalize careers. Sometimes a fresh start is all it takes to unlock potential that was always there. Let's talk about the rookies everyone forgot about because they weren't named Paige Buckers. Sonia Citron and Kiki Iriafen made history as the first pair of rookies to become All-Stars directly out of college in WNBA history. That's never happened before. While everyone was hyping Buchers and analyzing her every move, Citron quietly posted a 53% effective field goal percentage and shot nearly 90% from the free throw line. Her production stayed consistent while others had ups and downs. Iriafen was the early standout, but Citron proved she belonged on that court. These are players who came in without the massive media circus, without the endorsement deals and the hype, and they simply balled out. They proved that talent doesn't need a spotlight to shine. They just needed the opportunity to show what they could do. So why is everyone sleeping on these players? Simple. The media is obsessed with Caitlin Clark, Aja Wilson, and Angel Reese. Those three names dominate every headline, every debate, every conversation. Market size matters too. Small market stars get ignored unless they force their way into the conversation. Veterans get dismissed because of age. The assumption is they're past their prime, declining, no longer relevant. Never mind that Nneka Ogwumike is having one of her best seasons at 35. Playing style is another factor. Efficient basketball doesn't always look flashy. Kelsey Mitchell's herky-jerky handles and crafty finishes don't get the same highlight reel treatment as Caitlin Clark's logo threes. Alicia Gray's elite two-way play doesn't translate to viral clips. The Caitlin Clark effect is real. One player is sucking all the oxygen out of every room, and while that's great for growing the league, it means other incredible players are fighting for scraps of attention. But here's what's about to happen. These players are done being overlooked. MVP races are going to get messy because voters can't ignore what Kelsey Mitchell did carrying Indiana through a nightmare season. All WNBA teams will have names on them that casual fans didn't expect. Championships are going to be decided by so-called role players who aren't role players at all. They're stars who've been waiting for their moment. The league is deeper than it's ever been. You can't sleep on anyone anymore. Next season, when Caitlin Clark is healthy and back on the court, when the headlines are screaming about the same narratives, these players will still be out there dominating in the shadows. But their shadows are getting shorter. The light is starting to find them. Kelsey Mitchell's free agency is going to be one of the biggest stories of the offseason. Alicia Gray is going to be in all WNBA conversations for years. Nneka Ogwumike is going to keep chasing history until she's in the Hall of Fame debate. Brittany Sykes proved that it's never too late. Kayla Thornton showed that opportunity is everything. And those rookies, they're just getting started. Real fans already know the truth. The best player in the game isn't always the one with the loudest buzz. Sometimes it's the one you're not watching closely enough. And when you finally look up and see what they've been doing this whole time, you'll realize you missed something special happening right in front of you. These players everyone's sleeping on. They're not asking for attention anymore. They're taking it. And the league will never be the same.